If you can just imagine 30 participants inside this house, 30 musicians playing all at the same time, what that is.
Welcome to the home of Lyrica. This is where we have our fest every summer for 9 years. Come in.
Lyricafest is a 2-week program. We're staying here in Mariel and Walter Bossert's home. In the mornings, we'll have rehearsals and coachings. Then we take lunch. We'll usually eat outside if it's sunny. And then have more coachings, lessons, whatever. And then at night, I think for me, besides the coachings, the best part about Lyricafest is that everybody reads. Laura and Terry literally have 4 massive crates of chamber music, and you just play with people. You know, you'll read with strangers all the time, and then suddenly, like, the first week goes by, and then the second week comes, and just everyone is more comfortable with one another. Everyone's really enjoying it. The people get along so well here. There's so much support, and we also, before having our concerts, you know, at the end of the fest, Laura and Terry, they take all the students to runouts. And basically you can go to assisted living centers and you'll play your piece. There's so much involved. There's such a personal aspect of it at Lyrica. But it's great. I mean, like, you imagine a festival, like, you have like home cooked meals with Mrs. B. You know, it feels more like a family. Mrs. B. Yeah.
They always ask, when are we having mac and cheese again? Because we make it from scratch with the really good cheese.
And the onions?
Oh yes, the onions are here. This is like Julia Child. I started Lyrica just 23 years ago here while we were living in Chatham. And I started it because I started a series first of concerts that we gave, and then Laura and Terry started Lyricafest 9 years ago. So it's all together, all incorporated together.
I would absolutely recommend this festival to students. Laura and Terry make themselves extremely accessible and available for help, and I can literally knock on her bedroom door in the middle of the day and she'll help you. Laura and Terry, there's this barrier that I find a lot with other teachers that I don't have with them at all. Yeah, the environment is, I just feel it's extremely encouraging. People that maybe they would be, you know, shy or too embarrassed to sight read, or they don't have a lot of experience sight reading. Here, everyone, no one is going to judge you. Everyone's learning. I just feel like there is a lot of opportunity to try things, to get interested in things that maybe you wouldn't normally feel like you could do.
Where I always tell my friends about Terry. They're like, who's Terry? And you're like, it's Terry King. Like, come on, you know? But it's kind of that, you know? You can always call him up. He'll always be willing to help you, and he puts you at so much ease.
I basically want to help anyone, teach anyone who wants to know. It really doesn't make that much difference to me where they really are. I'm interested in where they want to be and be realistic about it. But I really think, and I truly believe this, that no matter how impossible things seem or how uninviting the world is, there's always room for something that is really good, that is that's real. Then A string coming up? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great thought. I love that. I've never heard it that way. Let's do it. I agree. There you go. There has to be a directive, for all these experiments. It comes from a creative place, not in a guessing place. Mm-hmm. You do an experiment that comes from a thought, rather than, all right, if I play a little faster here, I make a shape to that note or that note. It becomes, just a big guessing game, Whenever you go into the intellectual side and you're trying to guess at something, you're probably on the wrong track. Mm-hmm. Because we don't, the intellect's important, but it's not where it really comes from. It's good to know stuff, and that the stuff that you know, if it passes through your intuition, then it's yours. Mm-hmm. If it's intellectual, it stays over there. Well, that's a should. I should do this, and remember this rule, and you make a decision from that side of things. It's never convincing and really never a part of yourself.
Terry is music. He's just about the music, and it's true. It's sometimes you can box yourself in as a musician, and then you just do this kind of like inward kind of swirl inside your head, and you're like looking at the score, and you kind of lose touch. Terry, it's just sound. He just shapes the sound so effortlessly, and he gets you to do the same thing. You just sing it, speak it, always so beautifully. And for that, he's built in me more of this like sensitive awareness of keeping things so natural that when you're playing, it never feels choreographed, it's just pure.
We want our students to become their greatest teacher, and basically, I think any musician wants to tell a story when they're playing, whether it's a phrase or a piece or a recital. It's basically a novel. It's their story, and I feel that can be done on a pretty practical level. I would say about 90% of the information I really feel that anybody can do. I'm not one of those teachers that says it has to be done, before the age of 15. I feel that there are tools, but that those tools need to be used as a means to serve the story or the artistry.
I actually met Laura when I think I was about 16, maybe even younger, at a music festival in New Mexico, Angel Fire. I moved to the Netherlands. I was coming back to the States, and I didn't really have a lot of direction about, I have this degree, and what do I do now? I didn't want to just start auditioning for orchestras, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do some teaching, but I had heard from some people that she was really great in directing your career, and basically whatever it is that you are extremely passionate about, she will guide you and do everything that she can to help you be successful in that.
She's helped me become an artist and discover ways to express myself. I mean, she does it by showing you technique, but in effect, technique becomes part of being an artist. Anyone with honesty and who can look at themselves and take down the walls that prevent us from seeing where we are at this point. I think anyone who can do that is perfect for her.
You're not always gonna have like Bill Russell, like or like Pam Frank, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's not always gonna be like that, and you have to have it inside yourself, right? So this to me is the first step to kind of getting, well, how can we commit to it emotionally? Well, the first step is like, wait, who are we committed to? Have you ever had a rehearsal, and I think this is a really good idea for every single group here, without talking? Because do you know how sometimes it's like there's one person, in every setting, there's always like a talker or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like almost like a caste system. It's like we have the quiet one, you know what I mean? And then there's all these characters of people, the one that talks too much, the one that you're worried that he's mad at you because he doesn't, whatever. What's so good about this, and what really struck me was, how everybody says, oh, music is an international language, but it really is true. And I felt it most when I went to China, and I literally had to put a recital together with someone that didn't speak English. And it was the best rehearsal I've ever had. Like, I don't want to speak to my pianist or whatever. It's the best because it goes on an intuitive, guttural level.
Laura loves romance.
There's a lot of romance at Lyricafest too, always.
Laura's always scouting out potential talent in terms of like who could possibly come together.
We have 5 marriages to boast about. That's a recruiting tool in itself, come find your potential mate, and I think we're gonna have some more.
Really?
Yes.
Laura became ordained online.
I got ordained over the internet.
I can't remember what it was called. It's like the Church of like Universal Love. And
$40 later, I had the deluxe kit, and I had the certificate of marriage and all of that. And I just
the clergy card.
I'm very proud of that. I have. I use that as my laundry ID, my clergy card, because I think it's so funny that I'm clergy. I mean, obviously, I'm not really, but it's I throw out the clergy card when I need to.
Laura's a world-class violinist, amazing teacher person, and she's ordained via internet. I mean, if that gives you a bigger sense of the family, the love, surrounding Lyricafest. I mean, what summer festival do you have that? You can go to the website and then your Lyricafest marriages are there. And it's just incredible, to play a concert and look out and literally see these two people with so much love and literally, tears streaming down their face. It just puts you in the right place. And then you realize you're yeah, I'm doing this for the right reason. I have to do this.
I always say to my students, what makes your sound you? And in a way, when they've answered that question, and not just literally, but when they've answered it in 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and they play a recital like that, I know what makes her, was really, or this particular student. Now I know.
Music is all around us, so there's ways to become integrated into communities, and I think that's the authenticity that's the world needs. They don't need somebody that just plays the cello. They need somebody who is their character and everything about them comes through in their cello playing. That's, if a student doesn't care about that, they're not very happy with me, and I'm not the right teacher for them. So there's this artistic thing that Laura's talking about. But I think the artistic thing is to be able to come to a point where you're saying the way you're saying what you want to say, the way you want to say it, and that's, to me, is the completion of the task, the journey.